Revisiting my dreams with the king.
I guess that wasn't a countdown, it just started, so here we go. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the ride. This is the Revisit Your Dreams podcast on the Revisit Your Dreams channel right here on youtube.com. We have a very special episode today. I'm very excited. Our mission here is to inspire, to motivate, to encourage, to share real life stories of trial, error, and success, and to maybe even provide a few laughs along the way. I want to thank you to all of my subscribers, all the subscribers to this channel. You're helping us grow. We're a growing community of dreamers and doers, and I hope that you're getting something from all these episodes. This is season 2 of the Revisit Your Dreams podcast show, so things are a little different this season, but still, just like last season, we got very special guests. We got great things coming up, lined up for you, and some fun action at the end of each episode. All right, my very special guest today is a savvy, successful entrepreneur. He owns an active Juris Doctorate degree, which means he's actively practicing law and representing clients as the owner and proprietor of his own law firm in Northern California, Mindful Injury Law. He is an author and thought leader in the study of mindfulness and has hosted hundreds of mindfulness workshops and support groups over the past 15 years. He's a former college football standout at Sacramento State University. And these days, he's quietly one of the dopest rap MCs you may have never heard of. He's a husband and father of 5 and all-around great human being. Please welcome to the show, my boy, my homie, Chadwick J. Johsnon, Esquire. Welcome to the show.
What's up? I appreciate you, man. This is well written intro. I appreciate that.
Yeah, man. Yeah. You know, I had to Google you a little bit, but no, I knew most of them. Most of them was right here up the top of the dome, man.
No, that's good.
Well seasoned, man. Well experienced. You know, how you doing, man? Everything good with you? Family good?
Life is good, man. I can't complain. You know, staying on the up and up, trying to grow business and be a father and a husband and all the things. You know what I mean? But life is good. I can't complain.
That's dope. Hey, I like to start the show by letting our audience know how I know each guest. Each guest that I'm interviewing is somebody that I know personally, somebody I have a relationship with. They may be family, friends, somebody I went to school with or I worked with in the past, or we have several interests, you know, in common. This individual right here, Chad Johsnon, this is, like I said, this is my homie, man. We go way back. I think we started got to know each other a little bit, not deep, but in high school we knew of each other just because of sports. And then after college, we kind of met, attending a same church together. Our families kind of met, and we just kind of had familiarity with music and just hip hop and a lot of different things. We were kind of like-minded with. Both of our families were growing at the same time with young children, and so we had shared a lot of nights. I wrote down some notes so I could remember, because sometimes I don't even recall all the ways that I know a person. But I'm gonna let you chime in just a second. But after that, let's see. Oh, the Monopoly nights. We shared many nights, man. I mean, late out battling Monopoly, man. Just our other homies, man, your brother-in-laws. And then you even employed me at one point as an executive with your firm, man. You pulled me up out of a situation I was in. Not that I needed that help, but you came and said, hey, I need some help. And it was mutual because I was ready to bounce. And, you taught me everything you knew about law, or everything I needed to know about law to help you get things going. So what other recollections you have about our relationship, man?
Bro, we were rascals together, man. We did the good stuff. We did stuff that we ain't proud of. We just grew to be adults together, you know. And it's always been love. Our families, we've been tight. We've been checking in on each other. Even when we go breaks without talking to each other, every time we talk, it's like we pick up right where we left off. And you helped me out at a really early time in my firm when I was when I needed help and I was slow and I needed somebody who was sharp that could come in and match my intellect and help me build, and you helped me do that, bro. And I appreciate you, and I'll never forget that, man.
Mhm.
And and I will say that relationships don't always last through through those types of situations, right?
Mhm.
Where you mix business and friendship. But we never had any hiccups, not one hiccup. You came in, did your thing for me. We worked together. I would say it was over a year, maybe, or something like that,
It
right?
was almost 2
Close
years.
quarters.
You know,
How
it kind of
much?
tailed off in the end, but it was almost 2 full years.
Yeah, man, and we parted ways in love, and you went and did your thing, and I did my thing, and here we are today, man. Still boys, man. I love it.
I love it too, man, because it's not often, like you said, a lot of times it could tear friendships apart, or something to come into play,
Yeah,
but nothing ever came into play. You even off, I grew, in that experience. I learned a lot about law. I learned a lot about writing. I learned a lot about um, even collaborating with other people because we were building a system to help your firm grow, and then you introduced me to Jeff, and started working with him. I got opportunity to work with another attorney. You know. In addition to
yeah.
Chad, so it was a very, very dope experience, man. I appreciate you, just like you appreciate me for being there. I appreciate you giving me that opportunity, man. I still put that on my resume to this day, and it's helping me. It's helping me.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that.
That's dope, man. And then also you can't leave out the music, man. We definitely you've been a big supporter of my music over the years, and we've shared experiences. You made me some dope beats. We've collaborated on music and just have very like minds in that regard. So I mean, we have a lot of reasons to stay connected, man.
Absolutely.
We're tied to hip for life, bro.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely, man. Just a highlight. I just remembered. I'll never ever forget this. Even though all those other things you mentioned come into play, one thing I'll just never forget, just for some reason as it relates to hip hop, is sitting in your living room one night and us just listening to Most Def over and over and over, just like breaking down the
Over and
verses and
over.
breaking down how the double entendres and everything. Man, that was just. I remember. I'll never forget that moment, man.
Bro, the details, just hip hop connoisseurs, bro, just loving it, man. So yeah, like mines,
For
man.
sure, for
That's
sure,
dope.
man. Let's get into it. Um, Talk
Okay.
about growing up in a competitive household as a middle child and how being raised in Vallejo has helped shape the person you become today.
Yeah, man. So all boys, very competitive, like not just with each other, but just growing up. I grew up. My young childhood was from the South. I moved from Texas, and we was out there playing sports and dealing with bullies, and you had to grow up. You had to be tough. You had to be a boy, and a lot of fights, and they teach you how to be strong, and you're aggressive in life and not feel sorry for yourself. And it's just really a doggy dog world from a very young
Mhm.
age. Nothing was kind of handed to me. And then in Vallejo, it's the same. Playing sports, very highly competitive environment at Hogan, and you have to come in and establish yourself. Delon and Major Norton and them guys, they
Marcus,
don't take it light. They
yeah,
don't take it easy on you,
yeah.
bro. You got to come in there and hold your own. And they made a man. They continued to make a man out of me over there in Vallejo. And so yeah, man, that competitive nature is just stuck with me. So don't take my kindness for weakness, right?
Please don't. I've seen it. I mean, great dude, great human being, but very competitive. I've seen it on the basketball court and the football field. Uh,
Right. And in business life, that's how you got to be.
Yeah, that's dope, man. You did something that many people would not consider doing when you decided to go back to school after years of being out of school, and out of the student mentality. You started your family, and you went back to school to earn your degree in law. Talk about the trials
Yeah.
you and your family endured while you were attempting to accomplish such a goal.
Yeah, that was tough, man. That was one of those that was one of those moves where you know if you wanted to make a drastic change in your life, you had to take drastic measures, you know. So I was working kind of, it was a decent job for Hewlett Packard as a, you know, like a computer analyst, computer programmer at the time. But I had hit a ceiling. I had dropped out of college and I didn't have a degree, and I knew that I didn't want to continue in that field. So I was just like, okay, this is time of desperation. If I'm gonna make a move, I need to do it now. And I just was like, okay, well, if I could choose any career and there was no fear, no excuses as far as how much it cost and how hard it was, what would I do if I could snap my fingers and be that?
Mhm.
And it was a lawyer. I was watching lawyer shows and reading, you know, books about fiction, books about law and stuff like that at the time. So I said, okay, I'm gonna do it. So I went back to school and applied to law school and got in. And you know, my wife, you know, we got 5 kids, and my wife was just so supportive, holding it down while I worked full time and went to law school. You know, it's just a lot of long nights and time away from the family and not being able to be the full engaged father that you wanted to be during those years. So it was just a sacrifice during the time so I could have the life that I have today, right now. You know, I have both of my daughters are in the room next to me, uh, working. I hope they working. They might be running their mouth, but
They getting paid.
they in my office.
They clocking
They're in my yeah,
in.
running
So,
out getting paid, but I wouldn't be able to. You know the work we do here. They know they came in here and they're holding their own, and I get to work with my kids every day. And you know, we ain't rich, but we ain't broke by any means. We're taking vacations, and I have my own schedule, and life is good, man. So
man, that's amazing,
that's
man.
more than you.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I said that was more than you asked me, but
No,
that's
no,
a
no.
summary.
Thank you. That's good, man. You know, to be able to get the support from your family. One thing that you'll notice if you're a subscriber to this channel, if you're watching this episode, and if you watch previous episodes, one thing you'll notice there's a common theme is a lot of people are finding support from their family when they decide to revisit a dream, when they decide to make a bold move or make a bold change in their life or in their career. And so that's dope that you had the support of your wife and your children, and even to this day, your children are supporting what you do by, work for you, get to keep it in the family. And like you said, you know, we ain't broke, we ain't rich, but we ain't broke. You're able to do what you have to do, and keeping it all in the family just extends the lifetime value of your efforts. And I just think that's dope as a
Yeah.
testimony to anyone who has a dream to do something that um, might be uncommon. I've interviewed airline pilots on here. That's an uncommon career field. There's not very many people that do that. Even though you might be able to look in the phone book or be able to look online and see thousands of attorneys. There aren't that many people that are going to go and study for that long and that depth of information and language and knowledge of law to go earn a Juris Doctorate and then open their own law firm and practice it, and then be able to be successful enough to employ their families. Chad, man, I'm impressed by what you got going on, and I just thank you for being an entrepreneur who isn't afraid to take chances, because you're actually inspiring other people to take chances to do things. You don't know it, but I'm sure there's people in your family, there's people who observe you from afar. That's like, man, if he can do it, I can do it. I'm that way. I'm learning from
Exactly.
it.
Yeah, man, and I will say that it's um that's what it's all about, is taking a risk on yourself, taking a chance on yourself. You know, everybody ain't built for it. You
Yeah.
know, even what you're doing right now is this is, I love it. I already told you before, I've been checking you out and seeing how professional you are. Even though we're friends and we go way back and we're boys, you can call me anytime you want.
Mhm.
The way that you contacted me was professional. the way that I was able to accept this engagement, it was just really professional. And you take it, you're doing your thing, man. I could tell you're going all in, you're taking a risk on yourself, and that's what it's about. That's what it's about, bro. No
Yeah,
risk, no
yeah.
reward.
I learned from people like you, people like my father, my mother, entrepreneurs, my aunts. I got an uncle and aunt that were successful in their business. Several family members, have inspired me. And, when I see you taking the actions you've taken, you know, it emboldens me to say, if he can do it, I can do it. It might not be in the same lane or in the same vein, but that spirit of boldness is there. And that's what I hope that each of you are inspired by is the spirit of boldness. You might not want to go get a law degree, but a bold move in the middle of growing a family to do that, and then seeing the rewards and the benefits pay off in the end is just a blessing. Um, your law firm, Mindful Injury Law. Who do you serve? What do you do? And how did you decide upon that name to carry your law firm into the future?
Yeah, so I'm an injury lawyer. So most of my clients, all of my clients have been injured as a result of somebody else's negligence. Maybe it's a car accident or some type of corporation has somehow injured my client. Um, Caltrans, the state, city, the government, however you got injured physically and you're going to the hospital and you want to be compensated, I go and I find out who's responsible and I hold them accountable, whether we have to go after their insurance or, file a lawsuit or whatever, that's what I do. Mindful injury law, basically it comes from my background in mindfulness. Before, during law school, I started having panic attacks, and my mind was really, my mental health was really declining. And right when at the end of my law school, right toward the end, I read a book called The Power of Now. Do I have it over there? I don't know.
Now that's
I don't have it to show you. It's in here
that
somewhere.
card.
But I read a book called The Power of Eckhart
Mhm.
Tolle, and that book really shifted my mind and got me into mindfulness and meditation, and I just really dove in deep. Uh, I dove just as deep into mindfulness and meditation as I did into law school. And as a result, I was healed and I developed habits and practices that keep me centered and in the present moment and at peace. And it gives me a sense of a connection to my spiritual life, and I promised myself that anything that I did in life would be somehow connected to mindfulness and meditation so that I could share, raise awareness about it and how much it benefited my life. So then when I decided to start my law firm, I didn't know exactly how I was going to incorporate mindfulness into a law firm. I just knew that I wanted it to be somehow connected. So I decided to just name my law firm Mindful Injury Law. And from there I use that as a platform to do workshops and mental health, advocate for mental health, etc. And I do it through my business, even though it's a law firm. So that's basically how mindful injury law came about.
Yeah, that's man. Um, it's kind of like revisit your dreams. Um, to me, when I started revisit your dreams, this is a podcast. That's the title of this podcast. But 15 years ago, it was just a hashtag that I started using to help encourage myself to not give up on myself. And I was using it on all my posts on Instagram and Facebook and whatever was I was using back then, when I was starting to produce music and put music out to the public. I was encouraging myself when I was using those hashtags, and I've started
Absolutely.
I started trying to use other different things to promote myself, and the only thing that really stuck over the years is revisit your dreams, and it's been such an inspiring hashtag or phrase for me that I decided to, use it as a way to inspire other people. Yeah, man, it's kind of similar. Like it's like using your gifts, it's being in line with who you are completely. You're not just an attorney. You're also a practitioner of mindfulness. A student of mindfulness,
Yeah,
a leader in mindfulness, and you're combining the two to, just in every way, you're who you are. You're an attorney, but you're also a mindfulness guru. And being at work is no different than being a mindfulness coach to you. You kind of developed it that way.
exactly.
I think that's dope.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, and I would say that revisit your dreams is dope too. You know what I mean? Just that hashtag, that name. I mean, because that's what people do is they get into life and they get into the drudgery of everyday life and they forget that they have dreams that they're here to accomplish. You have a purpose here and your
Yeah.
dreams are given to you by God. And if you just let them die, they will atrophy and go away. So you have to go back and revisit, okay, where did I leave off? Where did I leave off? What do at some point I felt my purpose in life was connected to mindfulness.
Mhm.
You know, I need to revisit. Naming my firm Mindful Energy Law is a way for me to constantly revisit my dreams. It's on my merch. It's, whenever I do a podcast like this, everybody wants to talk about it. They ask me about it. It's an opportunity for me to revisit my dreams, my purpose for being here, which is to raise awareness about mindfulness. It can't just be about making money.
Mhm.
You know, that's so shallow.
Yeah.
That's so shallow. It has to be something deeper. You have to have something deeper that's driving you. So
Must be a
I
deeper
appreciate
connection.
that.
Yeah, man. I took a page out of your book, man. I knew what I was doing when I named it that. I knew where I got the idea to follow through with with that name. I saw what you did, man. But different question. Will you ever release another rap project?
Man,
No, I had to
I get
throw that.
inspired sometimes. Yeah, 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 yeah. No, I get it. I still listen to a lot of music, listen to a lot of artists, new artists. I listen to old artists, or I wouldn't say old, I would say more seasoned artists that came out back when, in our day. And they're still doing it. I still tinker. I have a studio and recording capabilities at the house. So, um, I would say I'm always going to be creating music forever, forever, ever, ever. That's another one of those dreams that I revisit from time to time. You know, I'm I'm still. I told you I'm learning how to play the guitar, and I'm still doing that. So with that comes producing and just playing around in the studio. And I'm always gonna be. You never say never, Johnny. You never say never. I haven't actually written any lyrics in a while, but yeah, like I said, I'll revisit that dream from time to time.
Yeah, yeah. I asked that question because it's. I mean, again, we've collaborated on music before. With in production or writing or trying to record stuff together, and at the same time, I've done my own thing in the past as well, and I've been separated from the microphone.
Hmm.
Verbally for a while. I mean, I put something out last year that I recorded, but little something small. But I haven't actually written, in depth or tried to record or try to put anything out with my vocals on it in quite a while. So maybe one day we'll get together and make something happen, man. Just revisiting a dream.
Yeah, exactly. Let's do it. Let's do it.
What would you tell someone? Sorry. Um, yeah, what would you tell someone who thinks they're too far away from reaching their dreams to start on that pursuit? They're too far separated to even get started. What would you tell someone?
I would just say that you're everybody has anytime you try to go after a big goal or a big dream, you're gonna have thoughts in your head that tell you that you're too old, you can't, give you reasons to not do it. You know what I mean? And the difference from the people who do it and the don't are they're able to ignore themselves. They're able to ignore those negative thoughts and push forward, And if you don't have a thought that tells you you're too old or that you can't, then maybe you're not dreaming big enough. You know what I'm saying? I would say you only get to live one time. So I would say push yourself, give yourself an opportunity to surprise yourself. Do things that you do think that are a little bit outside of your capabilities, and like you shoot for the stars and you'll hit the moon. But yeah, anytime you go try to do something great, you're gonna have some resistance internally, and um, that's why mindfulness to me is so important because you know the difference between a thought that says I can't and the reality, which is usually you could do anything. You usually can if God plants a dream inside of you, something that you want to do, it's something that you could accomplish. You just got to be willing to fight through those negative thoughts until they turn into positive thoughts, until they can transform into thoughts that motivate you, and they will eventually. But there is a hurdle of negative thoughts. You know, your mind's gonna try to work against you in the beginning, and you got to fight through that.
Yeah. Appreciate that. You definitely have to. There's time every single individual that has been successful at something has failed many times along the way, has had negative thoughts about
Yeah,
their ventures along the way, has questioned the pathway along the way. I'm sure Chad has. I know for a fact I have. Even in doing this, even when I reached out to Chad, I'm questioning. This is my homie, and I'm still questioning. Should I reach out to him? Should I text him? Maybe I should wait till I get some more subscribers. Maybe I should wait till season
right.
3 or 4. You know what I'm saying? But it's about just doing it, and
Yeah,
not letting the fear take you. Like get out of your own way and stop listening to yourself. Yourself is going to tell
yeah,
you, man, it's tough, it's hard, it's challenging. Yeah, and it might actually be, but you got to ignore that and go through it anyway because the more you do it, the easier it becomes. And your
exactly.
your our conscious, our own self conscious won't allow us to succumb to something when we decide we're going to go forward, and that's why you got to just decide and start. You know. Um,
Just do it, man. Just go forward. Take a risk on yourself. Don't be scared to fail. You know, uh, sometimes that's how you learn your limits. You fell and then you get back up. I just had a trial, a recent trial where I had a pretty difficult case. My client was a shoplifter, and she was assaulted by security, and I worked on that case for 5 years, and put a lot of money into it. You know, the jury didn't like it. The jury didn't want to award my client money because she was a shoplifter, and it didn't matter what type of evidence we brought and how unreasonable the security guard was. They were going to find against her, and that was a tough loss. I mean, um, it was tough having to tell her and her family that we weren't gonna. There was no
the
money for this
conversation
case.
coming, yeah.
It's one of those tough ones, man. But it's like, okay, you get to have a pity party for. I remember Pastor Nut. You remember Pastor Ricky Nut? He
I
used to
do.
say, you give yourself a day or so for a pity party. Then you got to pick yourself back up, and you got to, start learning lessons.
Mhm.
Learn all the lessons. What are the lessons you learned so you can go and I can be successful in my next trial, and I will be. So it's just like you win some, you lose some, and that's life. And you gotta just keep going, man. That's
Can't
it.
let the trials stop you. In the process of starting this podcast, even this will be probably the about the 15th episode that I've recorded. Tomorrow will be the episode 7. I think is actually releasing tomorrow. So months ago when I started on this venture, um, I knew a little bit about video editing and things like that, but I wasn't sure of how to put together this whole situation. I just started and I failed a couple times. I messed up a few videos. It took me three or four cycles of editing the video and exporting it, and it takes hours to export some videos to realize what I was doing wrong and then to go back, redo it again. Those things could have stopped me. Those things could have made, and many times I was like, man, this is too much. I'm gonna pay somebody to do this, and I'm gonna look to pay somebody to do this eventually. But
Yeah,
I wanted to get my vision out, and I can't afford to pay anybody right now. So I couldn't stop. I had to
right.
keep going. I had to keep looking for a way to do it. And it's just persistence, it's just commitment, and it's also in here. Like, it's got to be a passion, and you have to be aligned with what it is maybe God is gifted you to do in order to make it easier to keep going forth. Like, revisit your dreams is a passion to me because I've been using that hashtag for years, so it's easier for me to align myself with this concept. Mindful injury law is a passion, and mindfulness is a passion for Chad. So it's easier to align himself, especially naming his business that, with everything centered around mindfulness and being mindful when he's helping and serving his clients. So just keep all that in mind.
Yeah.
Shoot for your dreams. Don't let anything stop you. Fear shouldn't be what stops you. You're the father of five and happily married. Talk about how your family has supported your personal and business goals. You touched on it earlier, but talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, that's my motivation. I mean, my kids and my wife, they hold me down, and they're not only do they hold me down, but they're watching me close. They watching me to see that I am what I say I am. You know what I mean? And that I do what I say I'm gonna do, and that I have integrity, and they hold me accountable, and they are my motivation. Not in a cliche way, but like just like last night. Literally last night, it was late. We got home late from Modesto. We had to go to Modesto for my son's one of his trainings out there, and we got home and it was late, and I was tired, and I was like, oh, I don't feel like working out. And then I walked in the house and I saw my son, and I was like, hey, you ready to get it? Before I even could realize that I was saying I'm about to work out, he was like, "Yep, you ready?" So we went in the gym and we got a workout in. But if it wasn't for him, I would have went and gotten to
Yeah.
bed. But I couldn't let him. I can't say, bro, you got to work out when you're tired. You got to work out when you don't feel like it, and then don't do it myself.
Hmm.
And my kids, that's just one example. My kids are watching me every day. They're probably listening through the wall right now.
Yeah.
You know, um, so I gotta be what I say I'm gonna be, and I gotta do that, and it makes me a better person. God knows who to put around you. Those are like angels around me to keep me on the straight and narrow. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. I love that, man. That's something that I still have young ones. Two, my older three are gone, but in college or living their own life at this point. But I still got two younger ones, and I know they watch me as well. And what you just said is a testimony and an inspiration to me to be more accountable to my actions. Because I know that they're watching, and be more
Absolutely.
diligent about what I'm doing, more purposeful about what I'm doing, and be a man of my word. Do what I say I'm going to do. So that they grow up, following in those same footsteps. We almost at the end, Chad. I know you got a busy day ahead of you, at work, and I'm glad you. Thank you for taking the time. If you were to
Of
give a
course.
TED talk, what would your subject matter be?
Um, I would probably give a TED talk on peace, purpose, and power in that order. Focus on your inner peace, get your inner peace, make sure you're anchored in inner peace, your mental health is stable, make that your priority. And then after you have your inner peace, I would say then start focusing on why you're here. What's your purpose? How can you give back to this world? And then once you've established yourself at in peace, and you've discovered your passion, which is the flip side of the same coin of your purpose, then you will have the power you need in order to accomplish that goal, right? It'll be as if the entire universe is supporting you to do whatever it is that you're called to do. You'll run into the people you need to run into, and you'll have the words to say when they need to be said. And like I said, you'll have that power to accomplish everything you've been put here to do. So my TED talk would be peace, purpose, power in that order.
Peace, purpose, and power. I love that, man. I've never heard it in that order, but it makes sense
Yeah.
to get your body, your mind, your soul in alignment with in a peaceful state, so that you can have clear thoughts, you can have a clear conscience, you can have a clear spirit, and you can once you clear your mind, clear that space, you can now receive and have your purpose, divinity, your gifts, poured into you, alignment, you're open for alignment because you're now at peace. And then both of those together, provide you the power to keep moving forward and to follow your dreams, to keep moving forward, to pursue it, and accomplish what you set out to do. So, peace, purpose, and power. I like that. Three P's. Y'all use that. I'm gonna clip that up, and this, it's gonna be a clip
Yeah.
that up. Somebody's gonna use that. That's why you should share
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
episode with somebody, because I know that peace, purpose, and power, that translates to somebody. Share it with somebody. um, Switching gears one more time. All right. This could be controversial, depending on relationships. All right. I don't know, but
Okay.
this is something new that I'm doing with every guest that I'm interviewing from our hometown of Vallejo, California. Last night I interviewed. I don't know if you know Noveen Casso, Noveen C. I interviewed her last night. I got Montre Everett, my homeboy from Vallejo. He'll be on, his episode airs tomorrow night. But I'm asking this.
Okay.
It's called My Playlist. You have 5 artist slots on your playlist. Which 5 Vallejo-based artists you bumping? Who you listening to?
5 from Vallejo.
Yeah,
East 40 for sure. Her.
can't leave her off.
Um, Doobie.
Doobie. Oh,
Sugar Wolf Pimp.
yes, sir. Shout out Doobie this morning.
Um, yeah. I would definitely say Mac Dre
For sure. Dizzle.
and yeah, and I like the new cat. What's his name? La Russell.
La Russell. Yeah.
I like La
La
Russell.
Russell.
I love his energy.
That's what
I
I love
love
about
his
him the most, his
energy.
energy.
He wrong. Huh?
That's what I love about it the most, his energy. I mean, not taking nothing away from his rapping. His rapping is dope. He's killing it. He bars up. But I
Yeah.
love his
He
energy
got
and his
yeah, he fired up. He got some I don't know, like you say, I don't know his music much, but that ain't he'll be the first to tell you. Y'all won't even know my music, but I still support him and everything he does. You know what I'm saying?
absolutely.
He has that impact on people.
Hmm.
He's a younger generation, obviously, but I like him and I like his music. Every video he puts out, I like it. You know, so yeah, those I would say is that
That's
5.
5. Yeah, that's 5. That's a dope 5 too, man. I think La Russell, impacts people in multiple ways, and I feel like at this point he's put out so much music that the music is just a way to get to the people. He really is trying to touch people in different ways. You know, that's what I feel like.
Yeah, he's inspiring.
Yeah,
He's definitely inspiring. He inspired. I'm a 50-year-old man. He inspires me in my business to do what I do in a way. We need inspiration from every direction.
absolutely.
So I definitely take that him as an inspiration, especially out of Vallejo, you know, my hometown. I'm proud. I'm proud.
Yeah, man, definitely. You know, he definitely made a brand out of good company. You know, he started a culture of positivity, a culture of positive music, a culture, a very inclusive culture by inviting people to his backyard. You know, at the pergola, like that right there. You see people all around the country doing that kind of stuff now. You know, a whole lot of people took that
Yeah.
idea. They start doing it on their porch. So people start doing it in parks. People doing it everywhere. Straight from La Russell, man. That's a dope five, man. That's a dope five. You could have put a whole lot of artists on there. I did this last night with Noveen. I'm gonna read off to the audience some of the different people you could have put on there. I'm just gonna read E40, Mac Dre, Confunction, Sly Stone, Her, La Russell, Mac Mall, Doobie, Young Lay, The Mac, J Diggs, SOB, RB, Be Legit, D Shot, Sugar T, Demasi, Little Bruce, Into Deep, Baby Bash, Larry
Wow.
June got it started in Vallejo, Nefta Pharaoh, Funk Mob, Sally Sale, Ray Love, Ironic the King, and it goes on. It could keep going. Um, I just heard
Yeah. Yeah.
Noveen told me last night about a guy named Red Lotus out of Vallejo that was dope. I've never heard of him, but I got to
Okay.
go look him up.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think that's yeah. Vallejo. We got some good artists, dope artists to come out of Vallejo. I'm very proud of our city.
For sure. It's something in that water, man. It's something in that water.
Yeah.
All right, last thing for you, man. Before we go, Chad. My last question is called
Yeah.
Mount. What's your rush? It's another segment that I create. I'm doing this with every guest. What's your rush? And Mount Rushmore has four iconic images or figures on it. And so my question to you is, what are the four most inspirational people that would be on your Mount Rushmore? Four most inspirational people to you in your journey of life.
Four? Ooh, damn. Um, I would say, um, I would say my father-in-law, Sam Huddleston, was a big influence on my life, especially and how to raise my family. Um, Muji, which is a guy that you can Google him, Mooji. He's a spiritual mindfulness type guy that I uh, have very high on a pedestal. And he's had a big influence on my life in a very dark time. So I leaned on Muji and his teachings and his videos during that time. Um, I would say professionally, I would say Thurgood Marshall, who was the first black Supreme Court justice. He paved the way for a lot of, Brown versus Board of Education and these influential cases back in the '60s that pushed civil rights movement forward. While Martin Luther King was on the front line, he was in the background making stuff happen. And that was very inspirational. And I used him. I read a lot about him and used him as my inspiration professionally. And fourth, I would say, ooh, um, man, that's my fourth. Who would I say? You got me put me on the spot here.
So some people
Um,
get stuck at three, and some people are like, I got to put five or six on there.
right, right, right. I'm kind of stuck here. Um,
It's all good.
my son is an inspiration to me. My son is a big. He's gonna he's you know I learn a lot from him. He's still a kid. He's 18, but like I said, he holds me accountable in many many ways, in ways that he doesn't realize yet. And I could see how he is gonna he not only makes me better, but he listens and he takes a lot of He does some resistance, but he does resist like every other teenager. But I'm inspired by what he does, his hard work. I make him do stuff that I should have done
Mhm.
as far as discipline and work ethic.
Mhm.
If I would have done things that he's doing, I would be further along in
Mhm.
life. And he's just stepping up to the plate and he's doing his thing. So he's a big inspiration to me, and not just him, all my kids. Like I said earlier, they make me a better person. My family. So that's how I'm gonna have to end it with that. With my Mount Rushmore. Put my little prince, little Chad up
Well,
there.
Chad, that's a great four, man. That's a great four. Two of those individuals I know personally, and one of those individuals I'm fraternally bonded with in Thurgood Marshall. Frat. So definitely an inspiration. He's an inspiration to many. He's an inspiration to me as well. Pastor Samuel Huddleston, your father-in-law, was also, instrumental to me in my life during my time under his leadership and in meeting
Mhm.
with the fellas and you guys. I don't know who Muji is, but I thank Muji for what he did for you. 'Cause I'm sure
Exactly.
he's blessed
Trust
you
me.
in many ways. And your son, man, I've watched him grow. I haven't had spent any time with him personally too much, but I've watched him grow through video and through pictures. And I see him now, getting big, getting stronger, hooping, dunking on people, hitting J's, in people's face. And then I remember all the way back to, you know, the rap, the video when he was on your shoulder and you was rapping and he was rapping back at you. That video's still on YouTube right now. It might have a million
Yeah.
views by now. I don't know. That was probably one of your most popular videos when you was putting those out.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He's growing up now, man, and he's not perfect by any means, but
Well, none of us are.
I feel honored to be able. Yeah, no, 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 no. But he's doing his thing, man. He's growing into a responsible adult, and yeah, man, he's up there. He made the list.
That's dope, man. You made the cut. Pastor Sam, you made the cut. CJ,
Yeah.
you made the cut.
Yes, he made the cut.
Hey, Chad, this
Yeah,
is
yeah.
fun, man. This is fun. I'm gonna give you the opportunity right now. I'll be able to put any information you like me to put, down in the information below. But this is the opportunity for you to have a platform, share with our audience anything you want them to know about you, about your business, about anything you got going on.
Yeah, yeah. I appreciate this opportunity. Anytime to get in front of people, I don't take it for granted. I really do. I don't take for granted time that people are spending here watching this. Um, Mindful injury law, uh, and just mindful injury law on social media, Instagram, TikTok. Um, and if you ever are in an accident, if you're ever injured, reach out to me. Really, any question you have about the law, I have resources, so I can help you find the lawyer you need, or if it's a simple question, I could probably answer it. But yeah, reach out to me and keep, revisiting your dreams.
That's dope, and that's for California, right? California residents can reach out to you.
Exactly, California residents. Again, if you and you should Google me. Google mindful injury law and read some reviews. We out here serving these people, and they're coming back and they're happy, and we're getting them paid, and business is good.
I've worked for this man. I've worked with this man. He's a friend. He's a very close friend. He does very good business. He does intentional business. He's very passionate about his business. He's patient with all of his clients. He gives each client their own individual time and space. He's not going to push a client off for someone else just because the case is bigger or smaller. I know I've prepared documents for him. I've, delivered stuff to courtrooms for him. So I've had conversations with his clients on his behalf. So I know if you need help with legal action against someone who's injured you or hurt you in some kind of way, Mindful Injury Law in Northern California, look them up, mindfulinjurylaw.com, everywhere. TikTok, Facebook, IG, you name it, Mindful Injury Law. This man will serve you. Chad, it's been great, man. I appreciate the time. I thank you for being here. I thank you for all the nuggets and the jewels and the gems that you dropped. I hope that you subscribed to this channel. I hope that you like this episode. I hope that you share this episode. Again, I know that he says something that you can relate to or someone you know can relate to. If you have an individual who's an entrepreneur, someone who's trying to go get a law degree or just go back to school at a later age in life, someone with a young family trying to change career paths, change direction of their, someone who has creative gifts and creative ideas as well, but also has a passion for serving people and helping people, someone who is a thought leader in a space and maybe not know how to get their thoughts out and to help people. This is an episode that you might want to watch and you might want to share with other people. So, Chad, I thank you for being here. This has been the Revisit Your Dreams podcast show on the Revisit Your Dreams channel right here on YouTube.com. Our episodes will air Thursdays, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. From Nashville, Tennessee, this your boy Johnny King III, a.k.a. Still Chill Leroy. That's the homie Chadwick J. Johnson, Esquire. Yes, the homie, but he's professional. He knows what he's doing. So look him up. Chad, one love, man. It's been great.
I appreciate you, Johnny. We'll be in touch, man.
Yes, sir. We'll be in touch soon. Holla at y'all later.
All right.
Peace.
Revisiting my dreams with the king.
Stay on for a second.